friends, I'm Walker and welcome back to All Above Nails, where we talk about vegan and cruelty-free nail polish. Today I am sharing with you my Londontown Lakur collection. I'm going to live swatch all the polishes I have from Londontown Lakur. I am on a mission this year to swatch my entire collection. I've been really trying to get through my Zoyas. I've been doing color by color and trying to get swatch photos of all of my polishes, and I'm trying to incorporate some of the other brands in my collection as well. And so I do have some Londontown Lakurs. This is not kind of a brand that I buy from often, but I really like their polishes, and so I was excited to kind of revisit the ones that I do have in my collection and get some swatches of them. So we're going to dive into swatching these polishes. Great, so we're going to start with the first coat of Tea Time, and this is this really kind of sheer nude-ish polish. This one's definitely not supposed to get all the way opaque, and so I am going to try and just see, how much I can build this one up. On the first coat, it is pretty sheer, and it's just kind of giving this very, almost like, I don't know, like glazed effect, like I dipped my nails in like glazed donut glaze. But on a second coat, I do see a little bit more of that kind of tan, creamy color build up. And I do have a fairly white nail line. I know other people have, less white or more white nail lines. And so I do feel like on two coats you can still really see that nail line for me. I don't mind this one, and I feel like it would be a really nice base for some nail art. I did some nail art kind of with a polish like this for New Year's Eve, and I feel like there's a lot you can do with this. The second polish that I have from Londontown Lakur is Pence by the Pound, and this one is a much deeper, almost like green toned neutral polish. This one is khaki, maybe I would describe it as, and there's definitely a little bit of a green undertone, so I'm not sure that this one looks the best on me, but I will say that this is an excellent example of Londontown's formula. They have a really nice creamy formula that goes on super easily. You can see this one is almost opaque in one coat, and on a second coat I just kind of smooth out any of those problem areas that I had from my first coat, and it gets really, really smooth and really, really opaque. And I'm not sure that I mentioned this in my intro, but Londontown has a great formula. It's also 9-free, cruelty-free, and vegan, obviously. But I really like their formulas. I've really enjoyed the feet polishes that I have from them. Even if this one's not the most flattering on my skin tone, I do think it's a really nice polish. All right, up next is one that I absolutely love. This is Chimes of the City, and I really enjoy wearing brown nail polish. I think it's something that I didn't expect to love kind of when I started my nail polish journey. I don't know that I would have put brown at the top of my list, but a good, creamy, glossy brown I just think makes such a statement on the nails, and I prefer it to like a black. I would much prefer to wear like a deep brown like this one. And Chimes of the City has a really excellent formula. It was a little bit more sheer than the last polish that we looked at, Pence by the Pound, but on the second coat it totally covers, gets all the way to opacity. I have no more kind of sheer spots, and this one is super, super glossy when it dries. I almost always wear a top coat just because I think it makes your manicure last longer, but you wouldn't have to with this one if you didn't want to. So that's 2 coats of Chimes of the City. Next up, we're going to get a little bit softer, a little bit more delicate. This is Britt of Love, and I believe that Londontown actually has a couple different pinks that are kind of in this like soft pink range. This one I actually bought in a D-stash, and I will link the D-stash that I bought it from down below if I can still find it. Sometimes those pages kind of come and go, but this one is a really lovely soft pink. I think it has a pretty nice formula. The first coat is a little bit patchy and sheer, but it self-levels really nicely, and it's not thick. I find sometimes lighter pink polishes like this can be a little bit like thick and goopy, but I didn't find that with this one, and I found it really easy to apply. I actually found that I thought it was opaque enough to wear in 2 coats. You might want to go for a third coat if you're super, super picky, but I found this one totally opaque in 2 coats. I swatched it in my photo in 2 coats, found it really smooth, really even, really, really glossy. And so you are looking at 2 coats of the super delicate Britt of Love. All right, the next 3 polishes that I have from Londontown are all blues because I don't know, I love blues. I want to buy them all the time. And this one is Bow of the City, and I debated between getting this one and Iconic, which is another kind of very similar bright blue. I don't remember why I ultimately decided to get this one instead of Iconic. It could have just been a random choice. But this one is, I think, probably the only disappointing polish that I've tried from Londontown. It is a jelly polish, and so it definitely is not quite as opaque as a cream. And you can see that on my first coat here. It's super translucent and, you know, pretty patchy. I do think that there is probably somebody out there who loves this polish if they love jelly polishes. But for me, I tend to want to wear a cream that is nice and opaque, really rich. And so I felt like this one wasn't super up my alley. I do think I'm gonna hold on to it, but I don't know, I'm not gonna pull for it that often. So I am actually gonna build this one up in a third coat because I feel like even with 2 coats, you can really just see my nail line, even on like the lower part of my nail, I still feel like it's a little bit streaky and patchy. So I am gonna let this one build up in 3 thin coats. On 3 thin coats, I do think you can still see a little bit nail line. In my swatch photo, you can really see that nail line, especially in the bright swatching lights. So that's 3 coats of Bow of the City. Next up is one that you have already seen on my channel before. This is Amalfi Love, and I picked this up because I had heard that it was a dupe for Kale Polish St. Clair, and so I actually included this one in my first Kale Polish dupes video, and I was so glad that I picked this one up. It's not a perfect dupe for St. Clair, but it is really, really close, and it is an absolutely gorgeous polish. I really love these like super light blues that have a ton of white in them. This one I think has a really nice formula. I'm able to get it opaque in just 2 coats for me. You might want a third if you have longer nails or if you're a little bit more particular about, you know, coverage and opacity, but I do find this one pretty opaque in 2 coats, and I absolutely love this color. It is so soft and so delicate. Yeah, I love it. I love St. Clair. I love this one. And so you are looking at 2 coats of Amalfi Love. All right, and then next up, this one is not gonna look that different from the one that we just looked at, but this is Chuffed to Bits. And this one is a much more just kind of a straight up pastel blue. Amalfi Love has a little like tinge of periwinkle in it, but Chuffed to Bits is just straight up light blue, and it's such a delicate, super soft polish. I did wear this one recently, and I used it in a Paint My Nails With Me video where I did a manicure and was kind of talking about some Topic Tuesday prompts, so I'll put that one up above if you want to see more of this polish. But I really like just how delicate and soft and pastel this one is. Again, it probably looks super close to Amalfi Love, but I think they're different enough that I'm happy to have them both. I probably like Amalfi Love a little bit more. So if you're looking for one, I would say Amalfi Love is just a little bit easier to work with and just a little bit more my favorite. It's a little bit more special. But you are looking at 2 coats of Chuffed to Bits. Awesome. So that was my collection of Londontown Lakurs. I do really like these polishes, even though I don't have a ton. They're a little bit on the pricey side, so I always try to buy them in a sale or from a D-stash sale, one or the other. If you have any Londontowns in your collection, let me know what your favorites are down below, because after swatching all of these, I now kind of have this craving to get some more in my collection. So definitely let me know if you have any favorites. And as always, I hope that you will consider subscribing so that we can, you know, hang out and talk about nail polish again sometime soon. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.